Alright, let's see if we are live. I mean, I clicked go live, but I can never be sure. Alright. Well, let's just hope that I'm live and my mic is live, and yep, we can get into this. Okay, so the biggest thing I noticed today was the divergence on the 4-hour chart. I wouldn't call this a bear flag. People will probably call it a wedge, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that these are just ups and downs, and it has nothing to do with anything over here or this drop or anything. It's just we got to this higher high here. It had a higher high in RSI, which is good, and then we had a second higher high with lower RSI. Then we have a third higher high with lower RSI still. So there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of deal, the phenomenon there. Usually I just say it plays in threes. So whenever you get 3 higher highs and 3 lower highs of the RSI, it's time to drop. Okay, so earlier on SPY, I was looking at some supply. I don't really use supply and demand in my normal charting, but I know of it. I know it's like the opening of daily charts. They're kind of a good area to mark. This is where it's going up or down, or where there's supply of orders to be filled, I should say. So we hit that supply today, and this is a 4-hour, so let's go to the daily. Right around there. And I was looking at the 5-minute chart with Ichimoku clouds, which I used to be a big fan of, and I'm bringing them back. And also, if we go to the 15-minute, you can see that we've got this weekly support that we never really touched. We came right above it. I never went long here because it never came down and touched that. And I got that based on a indicator candle, I believe. Was it? Oh yeah. So we got the black candle here that closed there is some good support, but we never touched it. So we've just been floating on up. So anyways, go back to the 15-minute and we get this channel here. Okay, the 3 highs, they're kind of in a good channel. Start the chart from up here. I'll even do it again so you can see kind of what I'm starting with here. So we go ahead and get the parallel channel tool. We take it from the first high there and we bring it over using closing sticks here. The closing bar on the 15-minute here is where I used my top to match up here during and before the day started. Okay, so then I bring it down here. Just bring it down to the swing low, just because. So then in the middle of the day, we hit the top of this Ichimoku cloud. I'll zoom in so you can see. We hit the top of it here, bounced, and then bear flag down, and then bounced again, never closing below the cloud. So that was never the confirmation to go lower, because whenever we close through the span A, that's usually a good confirmation for me to go down or up, depending on whichever way. If we're closing above it, like down here, we close the 15s inside the cloud. That was kind of good confirmation that we're going to move up, and we did. So when we closed lower and we didn't go lower, We closed inside the span A here. We didn't go lower. We went up. We came down, closed in it a little bit, went up some more. So third time's the charm. Never closed below it, but we did make a bear flag into close. It looks like it's broken already. Started with a black indicator candle, closed below it, and so we'll see. I think we just got some news that there's going to be tariffs tomorrow, so who knows, maybe that's the trigger. I never try to guess what the news is that's triggering the trade. I just try to guess what the chart is that's triggering the trade. So, anywho, we got the divergence here on the 15-minute as well. You got the highest here, second high here, and then a lower high on that highest price, okay? Notably divergent. You know, these two here, they're not that bad. Your channel, it's not that bad. But that third high, it never even comes close to the top of the chart. Otherwise, it would be like a flag that's going to break up. You can also see that this action here is kind of indicative of a bear flag breakdown. And if you were to take just a trend line and trace it from the bottom, you've got a clear break here. So it should squeeze down. That's what we're thinking going into tomorrow. Now, I didn't swing, I think I only swung $200 or $300 worth of puts, which was about half of my profits of the day. It was not a big day for me. I did get pretty good movement from the top of this channel here. I got in puts early. I closed the ones that were supposed to expire this Friday because I was a little jumpy, but I did open ones that expire next Wednesday. And I closed most of them just to claim profit because, as I'm learning, as I've been doing good in the past couple weeks, closing out your profitable positions fast and your losers as well really has been saving me. So, I mean, we had 3M, Nvidia, and a couple others last week, super cheap. And I don't just say that now because it's already passed. I mean, it's in the Discord logs, it's there, but we sold them. We sold them for small profits because we're just trying to grow. That's all we want to do is just keep growing. We can put size later, but swinging trades in this kind of environment is dangerous unless you're using something that is already free riding, which is what these puts are to me. Worst case scenario, we gap up with no hopes of coming down, and that's if we have no hopes. But if we hit this supply again and we come down, that's another story. But worst case scenario, I close those out and I lose my profit from yesterday. So I'm not too worried about it, and we'll see. So besides SPY and their divergence and all that, recently I was in a trade. I traded some commons with X, and then I traded them again and lost all the profit, so that sucked. But it is what it is. I got a little excited after we closed an engulfing day over the inside doji on the daily. I opened some commons and they went up 2%. I didn't sell. I wanted to do a day trade. I just wanted to hold them. And then we touched the green span and just came down. And then also the baseline, or the Tenkin or Sankin. It's been a while since I've used the Japanese names, but the baseline, this red line here, we touched it, came down, gapped down, went down further. It was a mess. And today didn't make me feel all warm and shiny inside. So I think X may go lower, which is also another indicator that some trade deal is going to fall through, which sucks. Or something. Some news is going to come out. It's going to ruin everybody's outlook, and it's just going to go down more. Okay. Oil companies, they're just dogging right now. I mean, everybody and their mother was like, let's get long because of all the bombings or whatever. of supply depots, whatever oil news there was. And I'm like, no, I'm not touching oil, and it just came down. We actually did swing XLM last week, and we pulled some profit because I was just like I said, swinging right now, it's just dangerous. Okay. Let's go with TVIX. TVIX. I did grab about $2,000 worth of comments today. Just because, worst case scenario, we drop another % or two and we come up. But we've already got divergence on these lower lows. And we go, the bigger the time frame, the better you really see that divergence. So you got a low here, and a lower low here. And now we've got 3 levels of divergence. So if we're going to break that, we're going to see a spike first and then break it hard. I don't just get on the bear wagon that fast. Everybody was there a day or two ago, and it's cool to be there early, but at the same time, I've been finding that if my trades are on time, I stay in them a lot longer, or at least I'm more confident in staying in them. Because I've been early a lot, and it doesn't help me. Oh, you're cool, NT. Yeah, X it's been rough. I want to swing X so bad. I want to just drop $10,000 in those commons because they're so cheap. Not that I have $10,000 to just throw on some stock, but I'm saying metal is it's so cheap. You look at the weekly, it's literally like 75% down. And it's divergent as well. You got the weekly, it's setting higher high. It will get there. I just don't know if it's going to be before the ER or not. So, and I don't play ERs, just like Netflix today. I actually wanted to play options on it after it opened because, implied volatility is supposed to come down. It really didn't. When I went on Tasty Trade, it said it was still 150%. I was like, no, I'm not going to touch this. But, as you'll start to notice from me on Twitter or even on this live video, which is like once in a month or two, it's been too long. I've been getting way into clouds again. I was into clouds like over a year ago, and I dropped them because I was failing as a trader, and I was blaming the indicators. I was blaming the wrong things instead of saying, what am I doing wrong? So I came back to it, and now I've just got a fresh perspective on how these things work. So we go to the 3-day chart, which is not a really common time frame, but you get the high of day 308.75, and the red, the span B or the leading B line, whatever you want to call it, it's 308.61. So we were literally 14 cents off from that. Close enough, right? And you even see the low of the day was the conversion line, or that blue line there, and it bounced up. So that's what I'm saying. That was where I was looking. I was looking for a 309 or 314, or I'm sorry, it's 319 after last night's ER. I was looking for one of those to be the high of day, and turns out it was on that 3-day. I wasn't paying attention to that chart. I was playing SPY, and it just straight down. It spiked up there, 308, all the way down to 288. The $20 move. It's just too much to miss, and I missed it. I've been missing a lot of these good Netflix plays, and a lot of people have. But it is what it is. You can't be mad at missing every trade because there's so many trades going on. You just got to focus on what you're doing. I've been that, I've got lists and lists. This list is called 4-hour break, and it's not even that anymore. It's just a list that I kind of compiled. I got too many lists, but at the same time, I don't look at every single one of these charts every single day, during the day or whatever. If I had time, I probably would, but I would only, you got to focus on just a few and make them work. So anyways, back to why I think we drop. Besides the fact that there was some news about tariffs. So I'm actually opening my futures account as soon as everything, I've already got it in the process. I'm ready to trade futures. Like, I want to trade micros so bad, because $5 per tick, per point is like awesome. And the loss, you set a stop loss for 5-10 points, you're losing $50, and I've lost more than that on an option in seconds. So I mean, I can't I can't pass that up. So I've got the account started. I just got to get the bank linked to that new account for some reason on Tasty Trade, and then it's going to be on. I'm going to be trading futures like mad. So let's get back to ES. So we go to the 15-minute, and you might want to draw a wedge on this, but you shouldn't, okay? Because it's more like a head and shoulders with it's kind of like doing a dab almost. So you get shoulder, head, shoulder with a dab. Okay? And so we got a black Thandicator candle. Yes, I'm still using the word Thandicator. Deal with it. And it closes below the trigger, the span A, and the support, which has been kind of choppy all the way through here. Now we've got an inside 15 candle, and this is 10 minutes delayed, by the way, because I don't have the live yet, because I'm cheap, and I'm going to get it. But, so, I think it's like 10 minutes behind. Anyways, we've got a 15-minute inside candle here, if it holds, and it's below support. Okay, so if we break this down to 289, which, what was that line? Just some old support, we'll break it down. We might even go as far as 2986, and at that point we've broken the uptrend, and we could just see all these little support levels come into play. The baseline here at 2980, the middle of this channel, which is kind of crappy. Let me try and redraw this. So we'll start at the top line, go through the closing prices. I'm going to just ignore this because a long time ago I realized that whenever a price closes above a trend line but then closes right below a trend line, it's kind of invalidated. It's a fake breakout. I mean, it's exactly what it is. And I've been there. Everybody's been in a fake breakout. I don't think there's one trader who's ever been like, this is it. And it's always been it. Okay? We've all been faked out. So I draw my trend lines through it. It's just what it is. So we'll just start up here, draw my lines through. We get the wicks up here. Okay? And so we get support down here around 2960. Okay? Which is also another Thandicator line. Right? So at the bottom of this, we get that Thandicator line, which is, by the way, why I bought SPY a couple weeks ago. Is literally, I threw caution to the wind, and I spent like $1,000, which is way oversized for me, on SPY calls. Why did I do that? I was just tired of kind of messing around. It was a dangerous play, but at the same time, I was ready to exit that if things weren't working out. So this Thandicator line here, the close of this black candle was the exact level of support on SPY that day. And as you can see, we bounced pretty hard off of that. I'm not saying that this is the only reason. Clearly there was some level in everybody's charts that made this bounce. I'm just saying that that's what made me get long. And if you go back to the 5 minutes, all the way back, okay. So you go to that thing indicator line, you know, you've got this day, bear flag breakdown, inside 5 minutes, divergent, RSI, you've got the works. You've got all the things that you need for a bounce. And it bounced. And then you get 2 white thing indicator candles here on the 5 minute to kind of make you think it's going up. I mean, that day I bought, I said I bought 5 that were expiring for tomorrow. I bought them a couple weeks out because I was like, I didn't want to have decay mess with me or anything like that. I bought the 292, 5 of them here, and I sold 3 of them up around here somewhere. I was just done, okay? And it went higher and higher and higher. Obviously, I sold them for 400. They went as high as 800 or higher, and that's okay because I got profit, and it really got me confident again in my system. And that's kind of one of the biggest things that nobody talks about, or they do and it's not heard, is the confidence and the mental capital it takes to trade, right? Because I can't trade if I'm not confident in my trades. I mean, even some of the swings that I took, I was confident at the time, but also all this action has made me very weary of swinging. And so swinging puts today was really only because I can't lose more than I made, and I'm okay with that. If I lose a little bit of profit and this turns out to be a big drop, then it was worth it. Risk management, all that stuff. Let's go on. Inside day up into a spinning top with, got all kinds of trash on this chart. Okay. You can take it all the way from here, and you've just got lower highs on this RSI, and eventually it is going to break out, and it's going to be hard, okay? But like I've been retweeting and retweeting every I have these wedges drawn from the other corrections that we've had, and I'll turn everything off so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So this looks like a rising wedge, right? Well, it is and it isn't, right? It could be the end of the bull market. It could be. But if you go back to here, what do you get? You got another rising wedge, and it looks very ominous. And you even go forward. And I wish it would just do the weeklies instead of doing each day. And this is what the reason I've been retweeting this is because this may happen to us again, and it'll make everybody think we're going down, okay? So this is a clear breakdown in trend. I can't draw a line because it'll bring all my drawings back and crap. Okay, yeah. So, clear break in trend, okay? It looks very bad. It closes the week there, and then it does something miraculous. It comes back, okay? Fake breakdown, and then we just start trending up. Up, 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 okay? So we fake that wedge out. Now we go back to here, and we do the same thing. Okay, not only are we a lower high than before, but you got this rising wedge. It's straight up stuff off a flag. It looks like it's supposed to be trending up, and then click, 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 and it starts to break down here. Okay, it looks like a flag that's just going down. So everybody's nervous. Everybody's like, it's the end. And it keeps, okay. But it's just a correction, right? It's a correction of 2012. And it looks like a bear wedge or something, but then it continues up and up and up and up. Excuse me. So you can't, based off of 1 week, month, it's not the end of the world until you get several lower highs and lower lows. Okay, you don't know that you're in a bear market until about here. Okay, and then it falls off a cliff because you break this trend line up. It's from 2003 to 2008. At that point, you should probably know, and then you're back testing the trend line break right here. Also, a big thing that I pointed out a while back, probably didn't get a whole lot of likes though, is that whenever we went to the bear market of 2008, if you go to the weekly Ichimoku cloud, you see that we go down below it and don't reclaim it and then go down further. That is a sign, okay? That is a big sign, and you can find it all over the place. So even in the bear market of 01, you get a drop of the cloud, attempt to reclaim it, and it drops further. And then an attempt to reclaim even those highs, and it goes further down. Okay, so this is just awful. It just keeps going down below the cloud. And then you can break above it, test above it, and boom, flag. Flag, breakout. And then it's just breakout after breakout above the cloud. Okay, so that people don't use the cloud enough, and they don't use it in the best way, more than likely. So we get rid of this. So why do I say that this is just a correction? Well, if you look at 2011, 2012, it breaks below the cloud, reclaims it. Okay, and then we go to 2016, below the cloud and reclaims and goes above. Same thing here, below the cloud, reclaims. Okay, but one thing that I noticed is whenever we started to do this little breakdown dance, that was a false breakdown. It came to the baseline, closed right below it, and then gapped up and went up. Okay, so we've came down to the baseline and we bounced off of it. That was actually also, I think it was the low. Hold on, let me just put a nice colorful line here. Oh no, I'm sorry. The Thanicator bounces way down here. So we went below the baseline and recovered above it. So obviously every single time that these things happen, it's not going to be the same as the last time that it happened. So you can't just say, whoa, it did this, so now it's going to do this. Which is why I'm not sitting here preaching everybody should buy puts and sell calls and just throw caution to the wind and go. You definitely shouldn't just do that, ever. But in this case, I really think we might drop pretty hard, close lower. I'm not sure. I'm just, right now it's kind of a top play, and I'm not a top guy. I'm a bottom guy. And I don't know. It'll make everybody bearish. Maybe it'll bounce again. Maybe it'll go lower. It'll go all the way to 270. I don't know. But what I do know is that right now, when we break it down to the hourly, it looks like an inverse flag, which Cordova Trades, one of my friends on Twitter, she says that one of her favorite patterns is the inverse flag, right? So, or reverse flag, I think. So whenever you get a bear flag that's going downward, that is an inverse flag. Whenever you get a bull flag, which is what everybody keeps calling this, that's going upwards, that's inverse, okay? You can call it a wedge too. I mean, it's basically a wedge, but you don't really, I don't like using wedges because everybody uses wedges on every single chart that's going up, and it doesn't work that way. It gets me like heated just talking about it, because a lot of people on Twitter, they shout things that, I mean, in their mind it works, but they do it all the time, and it doesn't work all the time. You have to have something that works consistently. So Okay, back to my point. You know, you get a lot of things that look like they're going to break down, but they don't. You get this bear flag, it breaks up. You get a nice flag that breaks up, that's okay. But you get another bear flag, does it break up again? Does it break up above this supply? I don't think so. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see next week. We'll see. Well, now I only have one viewer. I'm not really sure who, but if you have a question, now's the time to shoot. Did I ever even post it in my Discord? I didn't. That sucks. Alright, well, my one impressionable viewer does not have any questions. I think it's going lower, and that's all there is to it. And we'll see. Alrighty. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was helpful. And always feel free to message me with any questions you might have. No problem. Thank you.